Hey, it's me.
Scene from a Funeral was a great character-driven, emotional film. I thought that it did a great job of saying a lot with a little. Um, we have this character that is sort of emotionally avoidant in a way and doesn't really want people to see her grief. And yet you see her grieving and you see her, she's saying she needs a tampon, but what she really needs and what she's really experiencing is something a lot more than that. And you can see that in this acting. The acting is great, um, you know, with her saying things, and yet you can see that there's so much more to that. I thought that the actors did a great job, obviously, and also building these relationships between the characters and having us see that in such a little amount of time. We can feel that dynamic between all of them. I also thought that the filmmakers had some interesting framing choices with this film. We have these cool overhead shots of the scene, and then, some of the framing choices we have her friend's pregnant belly is the only thing we see, and then her face right there, or the shot with just all the shoes of these characters. So I thought that was a very, really interesting way of framing the scenes. And getting everyone in the shot. So they were very creative with that as well. Overall, great character work. Emotional scene, I thought they hit the emotional notes really well, and the acting was amazing, of course. Yeah, so I enjoyed this film a lot.
Scene from a funeral. Loved the intimate choice of location for these conversations to escalate from a place of safety and of quietness, of privateness and intimacy to, more confusion and more competing ideas. And exactly what she was trying to escape from. And we got to see that. The backstory and the history just built with each person coming into the room and all their dynamics bouncing off one another, which was quite a sight to behold. Um, and I thought that the history between them was so crystal clear, well defined by the actors and also by the writing. Each relationship felt clearly defined and nuanced, and each personality was clearly defined and nuanced. So I thought this was a really lovely piece. Great use of the short film format in terms of its storytelling.
Scene from a Funeral was fantastic. I always really appreciate films that are just kind of those simple setups where it's one room, some actors, dialogue, go. And I think that, you know, you really have to rely on strong actors with strong performances because you don't have all of the other things to um, substitute for that. You don't have like the frills and the all, I mean, there's lighting and stuff, but you know, there's not as much to work with, and so you really have to just like hit it. And this hit it. I also have two sisters, and I thought that this dynamic worked 100%. I was like, yep, yep, yep. All of this is so true, and just the way that they interacted with each other, the mom coming in, everybody being annoyed. But in particular, I'd like to talk about the first sister who came in and was needing a tampon. Um, Her performance was so good because it was so layered, and with loss and grief, there's just so many complicated emotions that are happening, especially if you didn't have the best relationship with the person who passed. So, you know, she's saying that she doesn't care that her dad's dead and she's not going to cry and she's not upset and she just needs a tampon. And maybe some of that is true and maybe it's not, but she's not going to let her sisters know. She's not going to let us know as the audience, and she's not going to let herself know, probably. And that was kind of the beauty of it. So I really enjoyed watching this. Kudos to everyone involved.
Scene from a Funeral was so great. It was so textured and layered, and it was sort of a dramedy of, it was so funny, the sisters and the mom interacting, and yet it was all around quite a serious matter of their father dying. As someone who has two sisters, I completely related to just the annoyance. You ask one question and it spirals, and then your mom gets involved and everything. And I'm also such a fan of like a bottle scene or a bottle episode of actors just in one room, and it's just talking, because you really get to the crux of humanity and humans, and this is real life. Humans sit in a room and they talk. It felt very Jacobian, and it just worked for a short, and it worked for this scene, and the actors had great chemistry and they really pulled it off. So really well done.
I just finished watching Scenes from a Funeral. Oh my God, this was so good. This was such great filmmaking, great storytelling, everything wrapped up with a wonderful bow on this. The filmmakers, first of all, were so smart. They chose one location with a bunch of very creative angles, and they even managed to get the muffled sound of the other actors from the other side of the bathroom door. That kudos to them, because that just, it brought you into this whole scenario and it kept you there. It kept you watching this, wanting to see what happened next. And it also gave you all the feels. There were moments of this that were hilarious. I loved the ew when the OB tampon was mentioned, because who hasn't done that? So I laughed out loud when that happened. So I thought, great filmmaking, great storytelling, making it very relatable. And having the sadness of listening to her talk about, her dad, who was no longer alive, whose funeral they were at. So yeah, this entire thing, the way that the story was set up, the way that the camera was set up, your actresses were all absolutely amazing. Oh, and I loved the fact that it was her mom as her mother in the actual film. Props. Got to give you guys big props for that, because that was a really nice touch. This was fantastic.
Grieving is not linear, and when it rains, it pours. This is a scene from a funeral, and as we come to find, the lead is her father has passed, and we are amidst the wake. And her best friend, her sister, and her mother all enter the bathroom. Her fuse has yet to blow, but after being hit with her period and the pressure of those around her, she has a moment. But not only for her to scream that she's okay, she just needs to scream that she needs a tampon. Her family leaves, and honestly, it's this moment that her real life, not her real life, her real family comes in to comfort her by ultimately letting her be and feel this moment of loss and time. And it's a really genuine friendship connection that you see there at the end of the short.
Scene from a Funeral was really raw, yet comedic, which I thought was such an interesting balance, and it was done so well in this film. And I also just really appreciated the location that the filmmaker chose of having everything kind of take place in a bathroom. I think just at least for the women in my life, that's always a space where, whether it's happy or sad, there's always something going on in a bathroom with multiple people. So I think that made this overall idea and this experience that more relatable for me, and I'm sure it did the same for other viewers as well.